Hey guys, this is Ray, and I want to tell you a real quick story. Prior to 2016, I weighed 283 pounds. On February 4th of 2016, I weighed 274 pounds. At that point in time, I was doing a lot of exercise and trying to eat, salads in between the grilled chicken sandwiches and stuff like that because, that was healthier. And then at some point in time, there was a turning point when I decided to change what I was eating entirely. And there was this thing I watched online. The guy's name is Ralph Smart, and the thing that he was talking about was a like a 2 week vegan challenge. I think it was 2 weeks, but either way, I decided to do it for 3 weeks and see what the results would be. And sometime in the process of starting that, before 2017, before February 2nd of 2017, I realized, I mean, it really actually changed. It changed how my body metabolized a lot of things, including meats and all of the other foods that I had eaten previously. Um, I don't know how else to explain it, but on February 2nd of 2017, I was 235. Now, again, the prior year I was 274. And I'm telling you these numbers because I was doing all of that without spending any time working out. I didn't have time to work out. I was on call, we had a lot of work, and basically that work included being on the phone or on IM or tending to emails and charts of numbers all day long. And I ended up bottoming out at a point. I just kept eating the same way to see what would happen. At a certain point, do you wither away? Does it stop? And for me, it stopped it right at 203 pounds. And at about 203 pounds, I just settled there. I still was strong, but I was wiry as could be. And I felt good. And there was nothing that was unusual except for I was getting less frequently, I was getting sick less and less. So much so that I started to wonder if all the other things that these people are saying might be true. And so, again, you can delve into all these rabbit holes that you want to and try to explore them to your own satisfaction. But for me, what I noticed is I bottomed out at 203, and then I wanted to try something new. I wanted to see, now that I'm able to lose weight quickly and my body's able to kind of moderate itself. I wanted to see, is it easy, just like all these things that I've read said it would be, is it easy to gain muscle? So I started to, for 30 days, work out. I worked out. I even worked out during a trip that I took with some friends of mine, James and John. And that was because my 30-day commitment overlapped a trip that we had scheduled later on in the journey. So I worked out for 30 days, and all I did was I targeted having 10 repetitions, 10 curls, 10 push-ups, and 10 sit-ups. Towards the end of that challenge, I ended up doing a few more or adding weight here and there. I didn't really vary it all that much. Sometimes I would do 20 reps of something, but I'd heard on a show way back when, it's Tara Marie Live, that typically to build muscle, you want to do strength training. You want to try to use more weight than you're normally comfortable handling in shorter increments. That way you're targeting building muscle and not just kind of, I guess it's called aerobics. Not sure. I'm not, again, don't quote me. I'm not a doctor, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express once. So anyway, I gained 10 pounds of muscle, and I was steady at 213.3. Believe it or not, I mean, I'm talking within the fractions of pounds. It stayed consistent. While I'm in the metropolis of San Antonio, I'm often exposed to a lot of different foods that we have. The friends who still see me and enjoy our company and that we go to eat with and stuff will always go to the places that have what's comfortable for everyone, which is fine. That's how I want it to be, at all points. I also want to be healthy though. So when we go to a place that's comfortable for everyone, I'll still target whatever it is that's, on my whatever I feel like having. For an example, and I know this is a terrible example, but it's the truth. If we go to Whataburger, then I'm gonna have a Whataburger. I mean, you can't not have a Whataburger when you're there, right? I mean, you can. And it's a like I say, this is terrible insight because you're gonna think that that I'm a heathen, and you know I am. So that's why I'm telling you all these things, so that you can realize not only can you be a heathen, but you can still be fit, and that fitness allows you a sharper mind. And when you have a sharper mind, you can make better decisions more and more frequently, which allow you to go to Whataburger less and less frequently. At the same time, though, I'm telling you, your body is made to process certain things a certain way. When your body is satisfied, it's able to let go of those things that are not helping your body in any way. And in so doing, again, you pretty much just kind of start from a new baseline. A new metabolism is the only way I can explain it. A lot of people laugh at me and reply with memes and basically send things to me offline saying that my language is crude and all sorts of things, you know, make fun of my voice when I try to, you know, sing a song that has words that are relevant to a topic that we have to discuss in this world today, all sorts of things. And it just makes me produce more information to share in different ways that may help enlighten different people, because I know that if I'm really upsetting people, that must mean that I'm also really helping a lot of people to open their eyes. And as I do that, I receive a newfound energy that I can only explain like maybe a rock musician or something. The more energy I get, the more amped I get, the more excited I get, the more you can see it in my face, and the more you believe, hey man, this guy's talking about starting out with breakfast, and it's almost 11 a.m. here. This is I started this in the morning. I'm not pacing myself. I'm just kind of enjoying the day as I'm getting work done. I've already been in the attic balancing on the 2x4, the 2 inches, you know, because it's unfinished, the attic, balancing on a 2x4 and nailing up some, I don't know what you call it, mesh around a vent hole, and staple gunning it. It was just a suggestion given to me, a preventative measure. And so I'm doing preventative maintenance on my home at the same time as I'm doing preventative maintenance on myself. And I decided to share this so that you can understand that what I'm saying, you know, to me it speaks for itself. I shouldn't have to speak to it a whole lot more, except for that there are a lot of doubters. And I go so far as to say it's even in one of the most common books that you can find in any hotel, usually in the little side dresser. Almost all of those books have the same kind of insight about eating fruits and vegetables. And it even goes on so far and talks about food made to the idols. I don't know what that is, the food made to the idols, but in my mind, the idols and the business places and the corporations and all of those things seem pretty similar to the characters outlined in that book, and many books, many movies for that matter. Anyway, my name is Ray, and I'm not as smart as Ralph Smart in this subject, but at the same time, I'm telling you my findings so that maybe you can make your own decision as to how you want to proceed in your life if you're trying to get in shape or healthy for whatever reason. Maybe it's so you can look in the mirror and like what you see. Maybe it's so someone else can look at you and like more of how they see you. Maybe it's just you've wanted to try this all along, you just didn't know that it was that easy. Part of the most difficult aspect about this is simply going against the grain, that was a bad unintended pun, when it comes to hanging out with friends and family who insist on doing things the same way and always suggest that they're not feeling well or that they've gotten ill. And when you talk to people long enough, it's a concern to me when people say they're not feeling well. And my God, I wish I could just, help them. And in a way, all I can do is show an example. Because as we know, until we're ready to break whatever habit it is that we've stuck to for however long, for whatever reason, then we won't make any changes. For me, there were two things that really, really created this storm inside of me. The first thing was that I was on blood pressure medication that made me, anytime I stood up on the newest blood pressure medication that they had given me, my equilibrium would be off because I would nearly pass out. My blood pressure would swing that wildly. And it also caused me to retain weight somehow. I would eat less and I would be hungrier, but I would gain more. So I decided I'm going to just stop this, you know? And against doctor's orders, I stopped taking the medications, which I had just started them, and they had just started to manifest those side effects. So to me, I felt like if I'm gonna keel over and die from the medications, well, I was almost gonna keel over and die in the middle of the hall at work anyway. Which one's worse? Not taking the medications and getting healthy was my outcome, but results may not be typical. It just depends on what you ingest, what you subscribe to, what you feed yourself with, what you nourish your body and spirit with. There's all kinds of there are all kinds of ways that I can say this, but until you believe that you are what you eat, or actually until you recognize that you are what you eat, then you won't believe that you can change anything. You might rely on the words of someone else. To all of you who are doing that, do your research. Do rely on the words of someone else if you'd like to, but do your research. And just check, see if there are alternative bits of information that might make you question the logic that was presented. Do a little bit of research, look at those who are succeeding around you, listen to their words without hearing them in an angry undertone, and recognize when someone is smiling at you with love and affection versus hostility and disregard. I don't have any disregard for anyone who writes me. All I have is care and consideration that I hope to God that you will see whatever it is that brings you peace. To me, as I started to lose my excess weight, which possibly was tied to feelings of the past, or, I don't know how to explain it, but as I started to lose weight, I became happier. It was that simple. I don't even know how to explain it. As I became more healthy, I became happier. So what I'm going to postulate, or maybe, I guess, theoretically postulate, is that it's possible our mental health changes alongside our physical health. And just because we look healthy on the outside doesn't mean we're healthy on the inside. The biggest example I can give to you is that up until a certain age, as we are adolescents and as we are maturing, we can eat certain foods without any stopping. You can just keep eating those foods, look slim and trim, eating those foods, and then one day they catch up with you. That's usually when the old timers say, yep, was nice to be young when I could eat all those things. Part of that is probably because we always used to be active as children. The other part, though, is that these things age us from the inside out. So imagine if you're looking aged on the outside suddenly where you didn't notice that was happening before, think about what's happening on the inside. And also imagine not just the possibility, but the probability that as you eat new foods that are more wholesome for you, and as your body regenerates the cells that it regenerates naturally with the things that you're consuming, then it's possible that we can regenerate the health that we absolutely had and are capable of having again without all the medications that are currently burdening our society, even though everyone has benefits that are paid for courtesy of all of us anyway. So anyway, I thought I'd share this information, and I wanted to talk to you in terms of numbers. So again, I had ended up losing 80 pounds, and then I gained 10 pounds on purpose of muscle, which hasn't gone away, by the way. And all I do is occasionally I'll do 5 reps of 40 pounds per dumbbell. And so basically I'm lifting 80 pounds 5 times. And maybe I'll go for a walk. The sun hasn't been out for a long time. It just came out yesterday. The ground is probably a little bit dry enough for me and Tracker to go for a walk. Tracker, want to go for a walk? He's on the floor this time. Sorry you can't see him, but he said yes. He's over here now. Anyway, the ground has dried out. Probably going to do that. That's about the majority of the exercise that I had to put into losing 80 pounds. And then I, for 30 days, did a very simple regimen to gain 10 pounds of muscle, which helps me to burn fat food, or fast food, I'll call it. Not that I eat that, I don't. I try to avoid it, you know. Now, like I say, there's segments of society that I can't interact with in this metropolis without going to a place like that. It's unfortunate that most of us are so tied into those streams that we can't think of alternatives, but I'm trying to tell you about this alternative so that you can also understand that during my stay in this metropolis, I've gained 3 pounds. So instead of 213.3, I'm 216.3-ish. It varies a little bit. I gain sometimes about 5 pounds, but it fluctuates. And that fluctuation is normal. All weight fluctuation is normal. Seasonal fluctuation is probably normal. As our ancestors, we probably ate feast or famine style when it came down to it. Right now, it seems like it's been an unlimited feast without any famine. Right now, it seems like we've considered that just the words of another person and the pills that we take might help us to regain our health. But I'm going to ask one more time, just in any of you who are watching these videos, to consider that maybe our health is in our own hands, and maybe our health is our wealth. Because it seems like free time and concentration and focus go hand in hand. And so does good food that's wholesome for you. Not natural ingredients, not natural flavors, just natural foods. Have a great day.